If you've ever felt like, why isn't my spiritual practice deepening? Why isn't my spiritual understanding deepening? Why am I still full of fear? Why am I unable to be happy? Why am I continuing to experience conflict in my life? It all comes down to this single thing. This week alone, I've spoken to about, I think, 40 to 45 people, out of which many were going through anxiety, anxiousness, fear. Some were experiencing depression. Many are dealing with emotional triggers, reactivity, some sort of suffering, internal battle, lack of clarity on what to do with their lives, where to go, what decision to make. And some were just genuine spiritual seekers, right? Learning the teachings, wanting to dive deep within themselves, inquire into their true nature. And out of these 40 to 45 people, I don't know the exact number, only 2 actually had a meditation practice. And what I mean by meditation practice is an inner practice where you take some time during the day and you drop everything. You drop the world. You drop the person that you are. You take off all the masks. You set to the side your concerns, your desires, your fears, your worries, your expectations, your wants, your not wants, pretty much everything that makes you a person. You put to the side. You become empty of. And during that time, your only objective is to go within, to be with yourself, to be as you are, to be as you really are, rather than as you appear to be. This time is so important because without this time, all of these teachings, all spirituality will always remain conceptual for you. Always. Your anxiety will prevail. Your lack of clarity will become the norm. Fear will dominate. And this is so important to understand. If you watch these videos, right, if you read these types of spiritual books, if you want to go deeper within this teaching, if you want to be free of your anxiety, of your fear, of your restlessness, if you want to have any sense of clarity and direction in your life, then you need to sit down every single day and have this time for yourself, to yourself, by yourself. If you neglect this portion of the teaching, if you run away from this silence, or you continue to make excuses that, oh, I'm experiencing this silence through some sort of activity or some sort of art or some sort of walking or, some other thing like washing the dishes or something. It's not the same. Those are great supplemental practices, but there needs to be a time where you become absolutely empty of the world, because otherwise all this will remain conceptual for you. And this is something that I ask you to experiment with. So if you are one of those people who continues to watch these videos, yet you have no inner practice, yet you don't allow yourself the time to sit down by yourself and to go within yourself, if you say, oh, meditation doesn't work for me, or I can't sit still, you see, that is the problem. And that's why I urge you to, and I invite you to experiment with this. If you've ever felt like, why isn't my spiritual practice deepening? Why isn't my spiritual understanding deepening? Why am I still full of fear? Why am I unable to be happy? Why am I continuing to experience conflict in my life? It all comes down to this single thing, that you are not allowing yourself to melt into the silence of your being. You are remaining on the conceptual level. You are remaining on the layer of mind and the layer of body and world. And here there is always going to be restlessness, constant craving, resistance, push, pull, good, bad, up, down, just anxiousness, fear of the future, constant regret of the past, constant personhood. You remain entangled in the story of who you are, your idea of who you are, the masks that you wear. And the worst part about it is you won't even know. You will be asleep to the fact that you are remaining on those conceptual levels. And this actually only becomes clearer to you. It is realized more and more as you sink into that silence of your true nature. Now, of course, sinking into that silence is difficult, especially in the beginning when you have no sit-down practice. And that's the main obstacle, right? In the beginning, it's so hard that you run away from it. It's easier to listen to these videos and feel the relief that you get from these ideas. But that clarity fades away very quick. It's easy to read a book and again, the mind is enlightened by a new idea. But again, that clarity, that understanding fades away real quick. So you continue to suffer this motion of clarity and confusion. Understanding and, oh, next moment it's not there. That's because your understanding is on a mental conceptual level. To have any real understanding, any real experience, clarity, peace, freedom, it cannot come from a level of mind. And it cannot develop, be cultivated, if you continue to run away from silence. And that is regardless of how many videos you watch, how many books you read. Ultimately, spirituality is a process of unlearning. So that is my invitation to you today, is to experiment with this. If you watch these videos, do not leave this video today without actually thinking about, okay, creating a sit-down practice. This is something to become serious about. If you are serious about this sort of spiritual endeavor of self-discovery. And it's not the meditation that we want to make a goal in and of itself. The meditation is not the goal. However, the meditation is the means by which we are able to sink into this undoing, sink into this pure being prior to thinking, feeling, doing. And without which our practice remains on the surface. There's no possibility of deepening unless it just sort of happens to some sort of flash or insight, but that's very, very rare, and it's not something to be relied on. I understand that this may be somewhat of a controversial video because this topic is swarmed with all sorts of opinions about, oh, if you need to meditate or not. But you have to learn to take your opinion out of it, because what we are discussing is not on the level of opinion. If anything, all these spiritual teachings point you to this very oneness with yourself, realizing your own inner self, being one with that which you are. That is the definition of meditation. Right now, your beingness and the experiencing is totally mixed. The beingness is taken to be the appearances that arise, the thoughts, the opinions, the belief systems, the self-image, the body, the world. They're too intertwined, too mixed. And I'm going to release another video on how meditation totally unmixes this and brings that clarity, brings that the realization of that inner peace, happiness, freedom. And that's a separate video. But today's video, I really just wanted to, I know I'm just drilling in the fact again and again, but I wanted to make it so emphasized that if you watch this video, right, like, because there's no point of watching these videos anymore if you aren't going with that practice. And I'm that confident in saying so. Because they will do little to nothing. You will just continue to compile more and more concepts onto your already existing line of concepts. And they will just further confuse you. If anything, the spiritual teaching brings even subtler and more complicated existential questions, which, if there is no silence from where you are perceiving, if there's no spaciousness within you, these questions will deeply entangle you, and spirituality will just become another hobby or something that you just talk about yet never experience. So this is going to be a 3-part series. In today's video, I just spoke about how it is absolutely necessary, how meditation and sit down inner practice is something that you should implement. In the next video, I will share with you exactly what meditation will be doing if you are sitting down every single day and creating a sort of discipline out of it, at least in the beginning. And then the third video will be where I actually give you the two main practices based on your level of understanding that you should implement right now. So look out for those videos in the next week or so. That's all from me for today. In the meantime, I will also link some resources in the description box below that may be of value to you. And I'll link some videos in the end screen of this video. And again, if you are serious about taking this intellectual understanding and turning it into your direct experience, your experiential knowing, and you want to dissolve mind identification and become peaceful, become free from suffering, your mind, your emotions, and what happens, then you can learn more about my School of Awakening down below. Book a free call with me and we'll see how we can help you. Okay, that's it for me for today. See you next time.